not trying to reach the world. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to reach everybody from the perspective of, I'm spending dollars in marketing to get that person. What I'm doing is I'm being myself, and I'm allowing me to attract the portions of the world that get the message that God gave me, and I'm just sticking with my groove and my lane and realizing that everybody won't like me, and I'm spending no time trying to make them.
Wow. Okay, this is my 937 The Beat camera. Y'all watching on 937 The Beat's Facebook Live. It's Saturday morning. It's raining outside, right? You might have had a bad week. You might have went through some stuff. If you got some questions, you might even have a faith issue, right? Or you don't believe in the church. You don't believe in whatever you don't believe in. You're going through your go-through. If you got some questions, you can call right now. We're live in studio, 713-212-5937. And you can ask him questions. You can talk to him. I actually want you to see his Instagram and see how positive and inspirational he is. But you're looking at him, and he's a young guy, looks like us, talks like us, walks like us. First question to you is, why do you think people, some of the non-believers, have an issue with churches and like, I don't want to do that. This is 2018. I don't really got to do the church thing anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a dual thing. Number one, some of the criticism the church gets, it deserves. I'm not gonna come off and act like the church is this perfect entity that does everybody right. Man, I can remember times in church as a pastor I wasn't done right.
Wow.
Let me just go and be transparent.
Yeah.
My father, who God bless him, we just laid him to rest a month ago. I remember he was my pastor, and I didn't even know he was my father.
Wow.
Right. So here I got the pastor of the church, who's my father. I don't find out until I'm 12. I remember going up to him and I'm like, man, you my dad? And he said, yeah. I said, when was you going to tell me? Dude looked at me in my face and said, eventually.
Wow.
I'm not lying. Now, that's my pastor. So I could be walking around here talking about I don't go to the church because I got church hurt because man, listen,
church hurt is a real thing.
Yeah, but they still got to grow up. Because see, when you go to the grocery store, and they don't got what you going there for, or you go to the doctor and they charge you too much, or you go to the car lot and they got hidden fees in there, they hurting you too, but you don't stop going.
Absolutely.
So we gotta take this thing out of God's house and act like, we just can't go there because we've been hurt. You've been hurt at work, and you showed back up.
Showed back up every day.
So you just got to mature in that area as every other area. So some of the stuff, the criticism that the church gets, we deserve. But the other thing is that some of the criticism the church gets, it doesn't deserve. Because some of the hurt that people have, they brought to the church. And they look for the church to heal it. But you can't get healed if you're not open for information. So if you walk into a relationship and you're already talking about, I'm not going to trust anybody, then it's going to be hard for me to get your trust because you've already come in with a I'm not going to trust anybody attitude.
Right.
So if we're going to solve this gap between the church and the state, if you will, or the people, then what we got to do is the people got to recognize they ain't perfect. The church got to recognize that it's not perfect, and let two imperfect entities get together and find out a groove that we can help each other. And I think that that's where we are being successful. I stand in front of that pulpit every week and tell them, listen, man, I ain't perfect. I ain't going to never be perfect. So if you're looking for a perfect pastor, go to another church because I'm not him. But if you do find the perfect church, don't you join it because you're going to mess it up. Because if everybody in there perfect and you walk up in there, you're going to blow it up. So just stay at home.
So what happens when we're talking about church hurt? So what happens when you have that person to come and say, Pastor Henderson, I've been hurt by pastors, period, point blank. Pastors, they're nothing. I want to get to a place where I just want to glorify God. I want to serve God. But at the same time, every time I get into that space, I feel like I'm competing with pastor and pastor trying to compete with me. But I'm not in competition with pastor because that's my leader. I'm trying to follow. So why is it being so competitive? And I don't want to be at church now.
Well, you might need to find another church. It's not necessarily that it's the church. It just may be that portion of the church that you chose. If I'm on a basketball team and I'm in a competing position, I'm a point guard and I'm competing with another point guard. May the best man win. But that's an environment where competition exists. If you feel like you're in a place where you got to compete with your pastor, you may need to go somewhere else where you allow him to win. Because at the end of the day, God called him to that place. So there should be no competition. No more than I should come in this studio and compete with Marcus and be like, you know what, I'm going to be the best disc jockey or whatever. I ain't that. I'm a guest. So I submit and I humble myself in this environment because he is the set man in this room. So wherever you go, if you think you're in competition with the person who's set, that person don't have a problem, you do.
I like that.
Let's talk about your beginnings. How did you get to become the man that you are today? Like, man, I remember being younger and saying, yo, let's play church. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna play this bad. You know what I mean? But like, how'd you become who you are today? Because I'm sure you wasn't always saved. And how'd you become that person?
Well, I think that you are always who you will be. I just think that life has a way of bringing it out of you.
Nice.
So you have always been you.
Okay.
You always been great. You've always been charismatic. I bet you if I can go back and meet people who knew you when you were 5, they were like, that boy gonna be something.
Wow.
So you're always who you're gonna be.
Okay.
Life has to happen to bring who you are out.
Okay.
All right. So if you and I were best friends growing up, I bet you, me and you would have been saying to each other, man, one day you're gonna be something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but you're gonna be something. So you always, how am I the person I am today? I've always been him.
Okay.
But the way I became him is, let me tell you, here's the key, and this is what millennials need to hear.
Yeah.
Every mentor I've ever had who has ever said something to me in a way of positivity that said, you know what, they always say the difference between you and the other people that I mentor is that you listen. I promise you.
Wow.
The biggest difference between the person who has the talent and the person who has the opportunity is the person who listened.
Wow.
Do you have the capacity to listen, even though you are gifted, and even though you're talented, and even though you are famous, or whatever you are?
Right.
Do you have the capacity to listen to somebody who's already where you're trying to get? And you got to be careful who you follow, because I tell people this all the time. If you're following somebody who's going nowhere, you're going to get there 1 second after them.
That's good. So we got Jasmine. Jasmine said, let's talk about it. So you're talking about mentorship. And when you speak of mentorship, I look at the word succession.
Okay.
Because we're not going to be in the same place that we are forever. So how do you properly prepare for succession? Whether you're the pastor, whether you're the doorkeeper, whether you are the praise and worship team leader, how do they properly prepare for succession when in reality they don't want nobody really to take their place?
Yeah, that's true. And I say this to myself all the time. I'm like, Lord, when I get older, I'm 36 years old, and as I grow older, I am preparing myself now to know that I got a small window.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm relevant for the next 10 to 15 years, I'm blessed.
Right.
Because God is always preparing somebody to come after us to carry this thing on. So you have to look at the bigger picture. Wow. Like, if what you built dies when you die, you ain't got nothing. So my goal is to make sure that the church that God gives me, the companies that I have, that somebody can step in and function in that and carry it on. That's why the Bible says a wise man provides for his children's children.
Yes.
If what you have can only provide for you, then you don't have nothing. It might be a good hobby, but it ain't substantial. So you have to innately want what you build to outlast you. So for every leader, every usher, every pastor, every business owner, listen, man, do you think that Kroger would be here today? H-E-B would be here today? McDonald's would be here today if the people who organized it said, well, when I die,
that's it.
That's it. No. The fries are still being dipped in the same grease.
Right.
They're still being fried the same way because somebody had a system and it outlasts them. And that's what I would say to every leader. Make sure you have something that can outlast you, because if you're a person if you're a leader and nobody's behind you, then you're just a man taking a walk. Right?
Wow.
Leadership means that you can turn around and see somebody.
All right.
Yes, God.
You're watching, you're listening. Bless Beats, blessbeats.com. How important is the people that you bring aboard, that you surround yourself with as the leader?
It's everything.
And how do you determine? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, well, sometimes you don't know, because let me tell you, you're going to get bit.
Okay.
There ain't no way around that. Man, like, do you know how many times I wish I wouldn't have picked somebody I picked?
Say that again, please.
Do you know how many times I wish I would not have picked people I picked? But people got to stop blaming the people they picked, and you got to blame your picking skills.
That's it.
Like, if you are insecure and you keep on picking people to feed your ego,
come on, talk, sir.
Then you can't blame them.
Talk, sir.
Because after the job is fulfilled, they go on to the next person because they too have a job, and that is they only go where they're needed. And the moment you grow up and you don't need them anymore, they got to leave you because they got to go where they feel needed. So we got to stop blaming these people who we pick and start being responsible for our own decisions.
Tie that into relationships. Valentine's is next week. I know a lot of people. Go ahead, because I want to go ahead and get that because that's current right now. Tie that message into picking your
significant other.
Your boo thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you picking your significant other, but you got to find out why are they significant, right? Yeah. So if the significance of the other is in the area of your rejection or your insecurity, then again you're gonna still be in the same place. So the first significant other that you've ever met is you. If you're not significant to you, then what you will do is you'll bring in somebody to help you feel significant, and they will do all they can to make you feel significant, and you will still never feel significant because you will feel rejected because that's who you are, your essence. So sometimes the person you need to date first is yourself. So some of y'all this Valentine's Day need to take yourself out. Yeah. Open the door for yourself. Yeah. Go sit at the table by yourself. Feed yourself. Man. Talk to yourself and get to know yourself. Because the problem in relationships is we get to know everybody except for ourselves. Have you ever met somebody that no matter what relationship they're in, they change? So they meet a dude who ride motorcycles, all of a sudden they got a leather jacket.
They got a bike,
Then all of a sudden they meet somebody who's an investor and they like business. Yeah. And they never become who they supposed to be because they're nothing but a collage of all of these people they met. And now they sitting up here comparing themselves and everybody else to themselves and relating. And I don't even want to go there. But the truth is, the first person you got to get to know is you. Yeah. That's the truth. Yeah. Like, I know what songs I like to listen to. Yeah. And it ain't always gospel. Yeah. Like sometimes when I want to feel good, sometimes I turn Luther Vandross on. There's just something about a house.
My Anita Baker thing is mean. But boy, you better go ahead.
Anita Baker, Sade. Yeah. I mean, I just go on down the list. I know every song Al Green ever made. Boy. Sam Cooke. I can go all the way back there, and I can come relevant and be future. So, but I know me. Yeah. You got to get to know you.
Talk real quick to my non-believer side on Blessed Beats. On 937 The Beat, about it's okay to like both, because some people say, you know what, I want to go to church. God don't love me, man. Look at the stains that I have on me. I'm so into this future. I'm so into this street life. I can't be like that, right? Yeah. Talk to that audience.
Well, I would say to y'all, I'm gonna look at y'all, man. Where they at? Which one are they on? This one right here. Yep. Listen, let me tell you something. If Jesus came to our church, we'd have to explain to him what the world is going on. Wow. He don't know nothing about a choir, 2 selections, a testimony service, offering. He don't even know church the way